It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We've got another great Pacific Northwest edition for you. At the bottom of the hour, Tom Burlingame with XL Charters is back. He'll be previewing the Area 5 salmon season opening up on the 16th around CQ. And at the end of our broadcast, he'll tell you about his unique boat, which offers quite the comfortable ride in the Strait of Juan de Fuca. But before we talk to Tom and dive headfirst into this show, it's time to talk about what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest. There are a couple of shows worth attending over the next week. One of them is going on right now, and it runs through Sunday. It's the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, taking place at the Expo Center in Portland. It is the second biggest sportsman show in the entire nation. So if you want to see a whole bunch of the outdoors, that's a good place to do it. Sticking closer to home, the Fly Fishing Show will be making a stop at the Linwood Convention Center next weekend on the 17th and 18th, and there's going to be lots of seminars there for some real experts in the fly fishing field. Moving on to fishing reports, creel checkers in the South Sound found light effort and little success for salmon anglers during Super Bowl weekend. You're probably better off fishing around the San Juans or taking advantage of that CQ area opener on the 16th if you want to go after blackmouth. Over on the Olympic Peninsula, the hotspot last weekend was the Solduck River, where 91 anglers reported catching 51 steelhead. All but one of them were wild fish and were released. As for the Hoh, the Kalawa, the Bogachiel, and the Quileute, well, let's just say the fishing on those rivers was not so hot. The Skykomish River and the Wallace remains open through the 15th. There has been moderate pressure on these streams for hatchery steelhead, but the heavy snows and rains we've experienced as of late blew them out last weekend. If you can't fish the rivers, fish the lakes. Posters on NorthwestFishingReports.com report very good fishing for cutthroat trout on Lake Sammamish. The cuts are running 14 to 18 inches long, and preferred offerings include Max Wedding Ring Spinners and Max Purple Pearl Wiggle Hoochies. Try trolling about 20 feet deep at a speed of 1.5 miles an hour for success. If you can make it over the mountain passes to eastern Washington, Lake Roosevelt is kicking out some really nice rainbow trout and big kokanee this winter. Guide Austin Mosier has been posting photos to prove it on a regular basis. Bundle up, though. It is cold on the east side. And if you're looking for another option, consider squidding off our public fishing piers. One squid jigger on NorthwestFishingReports.com reported fair success off the water taxi dock at Seacrest Park during the evening high tide, and as a bonus, he had a great time catching herring as well on a recent evening. We've also got racer clam digs going on this weekend, which includes a long-awaited opportunity to clam at Twin Harbors and an opening at Mock Rocks. Both beaches are open today and tomorrow. The Saturday high tide is 6:57 p.m. and the Sunday high tide, 7:34 p.m. The limit, 15 razor clams the first 15 you dig. So there you go. That's what's hot and what's not this week in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
Marine Area 5 near CQ is open for a special Chinook salmon fishery from February 16th to April 30th, and Excel Fishing Charters is ready to take you out for a great day on the water. One of the great things about this fishery is the fact that you get to take home not one, but 2 blackmouth a day, and Captain Tom Burlingame has the knowledge and experience to help you get that done.
Fish on!
Need a place to stay? Excel Fishing Charters can help you with that too, because they also operate the Inn at Nia Bay. Find out more about fishing with Excel Fishing Charters at excelfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL Book your trip now.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Oregon's Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the West Coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
We've got one heck of a show for you this week, and most of it was recorded at the Sands Expo Center in Las Vegas last month. Why were we there? 2 words. SHOT Show. The Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade Show, or SHOT Show, as it's commonly called, is the biggest firearms-related trade show in the U.S. and likely the entire world. It attracts some 65,000 people per year for the week that it's open, and it's not even open to the public. That's right. You have to be part of the industry or the media to get into the show. So, who is the industry? Well, members of the outdoors and shooting sports media qualify, and there were over 2,000 of us that attended here this year. Law enforcement officers and members of the military from all over the world also get to attend. On top of that, you have manufacturers, distributors, marketing folks from various companies that make both firearms and accessories, and last but not least, you've got retailers. Folks who own sporting goods stores and gun shops from all over the country are here too. The show is huge. I mean huge. It literally takes you a good 2 days to get through the 3 floors where the exhibitors are, and all of them are rolling out new products and items for 2017. We managed to have some real interesting conversations at the show that we'll be sharing with you today, and one of them was with the governor of Wyoming, Matt Mead. He was at the Wyoming Business Council booth. You see, there's actually some states that are trying to attract businesses in the shooting, hunting, outdoors industry to their states. Wyoming is one of them. And Governor Mead is going to tell you why, as a small business owner, you might want to relocate to the Cowboy State. I'll put it this way. If you love outdoors recreation, and if you are not a fan of big government, you're probably going to like what Governor Mead has to say. After that chat, we'll be visiting with Alexander Crown. He's with Gemtech, a company that manufactures silencers out of Boise, Idaho. Now, I know what you're thinking. Silencers are for secret agents and special ops soldiers, right? Well, wrong. Alexander, the director of marketing for this company, Alexander will explain why you might want to start using silencers on range days and in the field when you're hunting. Turns out, there are a lot of advantages to doing so. Alexander will also tell you where it's legal to use silencers on your firearms and some of the rules you have to follow when it comes to getting them. After that, we're going to tell you about a couple of veteran-owned and operated companies who are doing some real cool things with modern sporting rifles. Jason Combs with American Built Arms Company will describe some of the things they are doing to accessorize AR-15 style rifles to make them much more functional and ergonomic. Something else that is a long time coming for the AR-15 rifle is a folding stock. Russians have been building Kalashnikov rifles with them for years, but American troops with M16s and M4 rifles never had a folding stock. Well, Ted Schumacher was deployed with the Wisconsin National Guard in Iraq, and he decided he was going to invent one, and he did it. Ted is now the CEO of Deadfoot Arms. He's going to tell you all about the clever folding stock he invented that will fit on any AR-15 rifle. We'll leave SHOT Show after that to talk big game hunting on this continent and others when we chat with Skip Clemens. He's the owner of Adventure Hunts. We've also got outdoors news covering a wide variety of topics, which includes the withdrawal of a bill that would transfer public lands away from the feds into the states, which would mean a loss of access to these public lands by hundreds of thousands of hunters and anglers and outdoors recreationalists who use them. We've got a good news story about some hatchery workers in the state of California that saved literally millions of trout and salmon recently. And we're looking for your help to find out who shot a wood bison in Alaska, a very well-known wood bison, by the way. It's an unfortunate tale, and one that hopefully will end with someone getting arrested for this crime. Throw it all together, and we've got one heck of a show coming your way this weekend. And with that, let's head together to the floor of SHOT Show at the Sands Expo Center in Las Vegas. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we went to the top at the state of Wyoming for this one. We are talking to the governor, Matthew Mead, and we're going to talk about why you, whether you have an outdoors business or just a small business owner, might want to relocate to the state of Wyoming. Governor, welcome to the show. It's a great honor to have you here.
Well, thanks very much, and thanks for having the show. You know, it's such an important part of the West, and certainly part of Wyoming, is celebrating the great outdoors and the recreation that we enjoy in the West. And so, thanks for having me on. Glad to have a visit.
Well, you've got two great national parks that attract a lot of people in terms of Yellowstone and Teton. You've got some beautiful country out there. The Wind River Range comes to mind. So there's plenty of outdoor recreation, and we're not just talking fishing and hunting. There's a lot of other people who enjoy the outdoors that come to Wyoming, too.
You know, myself, I love to hunt and fish, but we recognize, and I just created an outdoor council, to how do we maximize the outdoor recreation opportunities for companies that are interested in having a business in outdoor recreation in Wyoming. And it's not just hunters and fishers. It's people who want to go on a day hike. It's photographers. It's painters. It's people that just want to get outdoors. And, you know, we don't have the tallest buildings in Wyoming, but, you know, you can build buildings, but you can't build it outdoors. And, you know, from the Yellowstone National Park, the First National Park, to the Black Hills, Little Snake River Valley, Flaming Gorge, there are so many outdoor recreation opportunities and so varied, you know. And when you can go from sand dunes to sagebrush to the mountains, mountain climbing, all of that provides a great opportunity for outdoor recreation. And it's not only an economic boon to the state of Wyoming, it's a quality of life issue for us as well. That's why we live there.
Absolutely. Folks, the noise you're hearing in the background, we are broadcasting from the floor of SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's thousands of people here. So again, pure luck that we got to talk to the governor here. But let's talk about why businesses from a business point of view. I mean, I get the lifestyle point of view, but what are some of the tax breaks? What are some of the reasons why people want to relocate to Wyoming? Why is Wyoming better than some of the other states that they might be living in now?
Well, you know, we just, if you look at ratings, we've been rated as one of the first or second best run states now for many years running. One of the best states to start a business, one of the best states to retire. We have every year in and year out, we're rated the best in terms of our low taxes. And just, the government itself, you know, we've reduced rules in our government rather than building rules. And we want to be, and we think we are, about the most business-friendly state in the country. And that is good for the businesses that are there, and it is great to be able to have that opportunity to recruit businesses. And so in terms of just pure business, you know, the accountants and the lawyers, what they are going to be worried about as you look to relocate a business, Wyoming will suit your needs and with high marks in every way.
You know, a lot of our listeners are tuning in from states like Washington and Oregon and California, where they probably, I know for a fact, a lot of them feel strangled by regulations. And you kind of touched on something there. It sounds like Wyoming has a lot less regulations, a lot less hoops for people to jump through.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, it's not that we were over-regulated, but about 2.5 years ago, I told every agency you got to cut your rules by 30%. And they fell out of their chairs when they heard that, but not only have they done a good job on that, some have reduced them even more than that. And it's because we want to operate more at the speed of business than the speed of government. And you need the substance of the rules, but you know, when people just add rules and add rules and add rules, it makes you're not a business-friendly state. And so we've reduced rules in the state of Wyoming. And I think that we get such good feedback from businesses that are there or moving to Wyoming. They say, you know, it's great to do business in this state. This is what it should be about. With hard work, determination, good ideas, you can still make a great living here in this country, in the state of Wyoming.
All right, Governor, we have got to go. But folks, if you want to find out more about relocating your business to the state of Wyoming, just Google the Wyoming Business Council. You're going to find it right away. All sorts of great information on this website. You'll find out about the opportunities that you have in the state of Wyoming in terms of lifestyle, and you'll find out about opportunities for your business as well. Governor, thanks for sharing this with us on America Outdoors Radio.
Hey, John, thanks again for being here and for your show. We appreciate it, and thanks for the time today.
That's Governor Matt Mead, folks. And I got to tell you, there's something about our Rocky Mountain governors, whether it be Matt Mead in Wyoming or Steve Bullock in Montana. I've got to meet both of these gentlemen over the last 2 years, and I've got to tell you, you would expect a governor would be kind of, I don't know, think very highly of themselves and come off that way, but both of these men are very down-to-earth, very easy to talk to, not pretentious in any way. Don't know enough about their politics, either one of them to say yay or nay, but I can tell you, I came away with very favorable impressions about both men and liked what I heard from both of them too when it came to the outdoors and recreation. Don't change that channel. We've got a whole lot more coming your way on this SHOT Show edition of America Outdoors Radio. Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com.
Do you long to hunt Africa's most dangerous big game? Big Game Hunting Adventures offers that. Hunting free-range Cape buffalo in some of the wildest untamed country left on the continent. You'll be the only hunting party tracking free-range buffalo on 160,000 acres of land, where the borders of Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe meet. They include pickup at Johannesburg International Airport, and they're among the most affordable you'll find in all of Africa. Book your safari today at BigGameHuntingAdventures.com. Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at Stabicraft.com.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at AdventureHunts.com. That's AdventureHunts.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at Stabicraft.com.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at AdventureHunts.com. That's AdventureHunts.com. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. When you think of silencers, you probably think of James Bond movies. You probably think of, spies and that sort of thing. But you know what? Silencers are hitting the mainstream, and you're even finding them in the field. Hunters are using silencers too. With us here to tell you more about why you might
want to use a silencer when you're at the range or when you're hunting is Alexander Crown. He's the director of marketing for Gemtech. They make silencers, and they're based out of Boise, Idaho. Alexander, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, John. I'm excited to be here. This is great for me. And while I fancy myself to be Daniel Craig, I'm not a secret agent, and I don't look that good. But I am excited to be here. So thank you. So silencers, are growing, and Gemtech has been around since 1993 officially, but we've been innovating silencers since 1976. Our roots run pretty deep in the silencer world, and being in Idaho, most of our employees are sportsmen of some kind. A lot of us hunt and fish and outdoor type people. So this is a great fit for us.
So why would a hunter want to use a silencer? What are the benefits? And I guess we'll start off before the season starts, when they're out at the range, when they're putting rounds down range and either zeroing or just target practicing. Why do you want a silencer when you're at the range before the season starts?
Owning a silencer, like you said, there's some stigma around it, but it's really becoming mainstream. And one of the great benefits of the silencers is obviously your hearing. Hearing protection is a big deal. The VA has more hearing loss claims than any other claim. We're spending billions of dollars in hearing loss for vets. And, all of us as we get older, when we're around guns more, our hearing starts to fade. And while it may be handy when we're around our wives, it's not handy as just everyday life. And so a silencer is going to protect that. Silencers in general, for the most part, will bring gunshots down to hearing safe levels. You will not need hearing protection. And that's great because I know when I'm out in the woods, I don't like to use hearing protection because it blocks, the sound. And even electronic hearing protection, it won't allow me to centralize where a noise came from. While I hear the noise, I don't know where it came from around me. And so a silencer allows you to walk around in the woods without hearing protection.
So here's the next question then. I understand why you want to use it in the range, and you're kind of hinting at some of the reasons in the field. But what are some of the other reasons that hunters might want to use silencers? Is there any benefit in terms of actually pursuing game or having maybe even follow-up shots?
Absolutely. I mean, this is, silencers, what they do is they trap the hot gases and they, muffle the sound of a gunshot. Supersonic ammunition is going to break the sound barrier. We're always going to have that, but it's downrange a ways, and, there's nothing we can do about that except use slower ammunition. And we don't want to do that hunting because it's less lethal. So what the silencer then allows you to do is, with follow-up shots, a silencer decreases the amount of felt recoil, it decreases the amount of muzzle climb, and when you're hunting like a pack animal, coyotes or something like that, typically what will happen is you'll get that first shot off, hopefully make a hit, and the other animals won't be able to locate where the sound came from, so they'll either, in some cases, they run directly at you, or they won't run away. They'll run off to the side, or a lot of times they won't even move. What you'll see in a lot of hog hunting examples is you'll drop a hog and the other ones will just kind of stand there sort of trying to figure out what just happened, and it'll allow you to get 2 to 3, maybe even 4 more shots off. So you're dropping more animals. Same with the coyotes. That really helps. And when it comes to some of the bigger game where you're not necessarily having to drop multiple critters, if you miss, heaven forbid, but if you do miss, it kind of gives you another second or two before the animal understands what just happened to hopefully get that follow-up shot and drop it. And we've seen that a lot. In Idaho, big games, it's a big deal up in the mountains and things, and they're longer shots across canyons and whatnot, for elk and such. So I've known guys that have been able to slap an elk on the second shot with a silencer.
You're listening to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're talking to Alexander Crown. He's a director of marketing for Gemtech. They make world-class silencers out of Boise, Idaho. And we're talking about using silencers in the field for hunting. Reduced recoil is a big deal when it comes to this. How does a suppressor reduce the recoil? And, before you get into that, I need to tell you, when I was coming here to SHOT Show today, where we're visiting, I was actually sitting next to a young man who works for the sheriff's office in Reno, Nevada, and he had shot a rifle with one of your silencers. He said it was a 308, and it was like shooting a 22. I mean, that's how reduced the recoil was. Why does a silencer do that?
Well, we know that, when you fire a gun and the bullet goes down the barrel and it has hot gases propelling it, the bullet uncorks from the barrel is kind of how we refer to it, and then the gases explode into the atmosphere, and that causes a recoil into your shoulder. It's physics, equal and opposite reaction. And so what a silencer does is it's mounted on the end of your barrel, and it traps those gases. And the whole point is to have those gases interact with surface area inside of the silencer to cause turbulence. So they dissipate, they lose their heat quickly, and it's absorbed by the silencer. So silencers can get pretty warm after a while. But that's essentially what it does. It traps those gases. It doesn't allow them to release into the atmosphere, and so you don't have that sharp kick of the rifle.
Another question for you. There's some people that will say that using a silencer decreases your accuracy in a firearm. True or false?
I'm going to go with false on that one, not just because I'm biased, but because my experience has been the opposite. What a silencer will do is change your accuracy. And what I mean by that is, if you think about a gun is a rifle is a fine-tuned machine, essentially. You have everything mated together and it's working in harmony. And you're changing it. You're adding a new variable in the form of a silencer. So if you think of a barrel has, most of our hunting rifles have free-floated barrels, things like that. They're very popular in America. And so having that free-floated barrel, when you hang a weight on the end of it, you've changed the harmonics, you've changed the barrel whip. All of these things have changed. And so what we encourage hunters to do is put the silencer on, go to the range, zero it with the silencer, and leave it on.
Makes perfect sense. We're starting to run short on time. But before we go, we need to talk about the legality of silencers. They're not legal in all states. I understand they're legal in 42 states, but you just can't go to the store and say, I want a silencer and take it home with you. A little more complicated than that, isn't it?
That's correct. If you think about a silencer, first of all, anybody that's legally allowed to own a firearm within those 42 states is legally allowed to own a silencer. It's just a little bit longer of a process and a little bit more involved. Each silencer currently carries a $200 tax associated with it. And think of them as cars. A silencer has a title, just like a car does. And every time it changes owners, that title changes owners. So when we build the silencer, we create the title, transfer that title to a gun store, a dealer, and then when you go in and purchase it, they are transferring the title to you, and that's where that fee is associated.
All right. If folks want to find Gemtech silencers, is it just online, or are there retail stores and gun shops they can go to as well?
Absolutely. Gemtech.com, and obviously our Facebook page, Gemtech Silencer. But we have dealers. We have the most extensive dealer network of any silencer company. We have them in all of those states there where they are legally allowed. Everywhere on our website, we have a dealer locator where you just plug in your zip code, and it'll show you the dealers closest to you.
So the place to start, folks, is Gemtech.com. That's Gemtech.com. Consider using a silencer on your next hunting expedition. You might be surprised at how well it works out. Alexander, thanks for sharing all of this with us on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks, John. I appreciate being here.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, Game Management Unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store, or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at AdventureHunts.com. That's AdventureHunts.com.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands so future generations can enjoy what we enjoy. Join the group that makes a difference. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We're talking to Tom Burlingame with XL Fishing Charters about the Blackmouth opener that's taking place in Marine Area 5 off of CQ February 16th, just a few days away. Are you excited, Tom?
I sure am.
So this is a unique fishery compared to what's going on in other areas of Puget Sound because you get to keep not one, but 2 blackmouth salmon.
Yeah, the department made the change a couple of years ago. We used to be a 1 fish limit, but you could keep any fish. Now it's 2 hatchery fish, so it's a selected fishery now.
Is this a crowded fishery? I'm guessing probably not, despite the opportunity, just because CQ's kind of a haul.
That's right. It's different than most blackmouth fishing in the Sound. It isn't very crowded. Some days you see 1 or 2 other boats.
Wow, that's not crowded at all. What are the conditions like in the Strait of Juan de Fuca this time of year? Is it pretty rough water, or is it still not bad?
You know, weather can be weather. You can catch some bad weather, and if the wind is blowing east, we may not be able to do it, but most days it's just fine.
And we talked about this before, but really quick, how are you going about catching the blackmouth? What method are you using to get them in the boat?
Well, we're trolling with downriggers, mostly with spoons. I like spoons. And we're trolling with the current. That's the main thing.
Interesting. Okay, that actually is a good tip you didn't talk about before, as opposed with the current as opposed to against the current. It really makes a difference, huh?
It sure does. Your gear works a lot better when you're going with the current. It's very effective.
All right, we've got to go. But folks, if you want to book a trip with XL Fishing Charters, go to the website, XL, that's EXCEL, fishingcharters.com. That's xlfishingcharters.com. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Marine Area 5 near CQ is open for a special Chinook salmon fishery from February 16th to April 30th, and XL Fishing Charters is ready to take you out for a great day on the water. One of the great things about this fishery is the fact that you get to take home not 1, but 2 blackmouth a day, and Captain Tom Burlingame has the knowledge and experience to help you get that done. Find out more about fishing with XL Fishing Charters at xlfishingcharters.com. Book your trip now.
Oregon's Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the West Coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. This portion of the show is brought to you by the American Shooting Journal. It is the monthly publication covering the firearms scene throughout North America. Look for it at a newsstand near you. One of the things that you're going to find in the American Shooting Journal is a lot of information about modern sporting rifles. And the AR-15, the M4, the M16, that whole rifle series has found a home with a veteran company here in the USA. It's American-Built Arms Company out of Glen Rock, Pennsylvania. And with us here to talk about some of the innovations they have brought to AR rifles is Jason Combs. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Jason, love the fact that you're a veteran-owned company. Tell me a little bit about your service.
Sure. I went in the Army. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division, 1st of the 504 Infantry. And after that, I got out, and I was in the National Guard for another 4 years.
Well, thank you for your service. And, you know, obviously you have a lot of familiarity with M16s and M4s. And you, Jason, and your company has figured out how to build a better mousetrap. And I'm looking at an AR right here. And I love what you're doing with some of the things here. So, as we both know, the handguard on the M4, it did the trick, but it certainly wasn't ergonomic. You've come up with a really nice-looking and easy-to-hold handguard.
Yes, sir. Yep, it's called the Mod 1 or the AB Pro handguard. What we did was we wanted to design something that was extremely ergonomic, that was easy to hold in your hand, and was extremely lightweight. And also what we did with the unit was we put dual heat shields in it, and the way that it's designed is meant to be able to be shot on full auto fire. So that way you can hold it in your hand and it doesn't get hot at all.
Nice. I like that a lot. Another thing that I really like on the AR-15 that you have here is the pistol grip. And it's so unusual to see an ergonomic pistol grip. You almost never see that, but it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. So when we were going to design this, we designed this for SBR rifles, which is short-barreled rifles. A lot of folks are starting to build those. And what it is it's a lot smaller and a lot thinner. It really tends to fit into medium-sized hands really, really well. But if you wanted a pistol grip that's going to fit on a gun and it's going to be very small and out of the way, that is the pistol grip for you.
Now, something else that you have here, you really don't see fixed buttstocks anymore. They're almost all adjustable buttstocks, and that's what you have here as well. But yours looks very different than most adjustable stocks that I see.
Yes, sir. What we were going for when we made our buttstock was we originally designed this for our chassis system, and it works with AR-15s also. And what we were looking for was what we like to call fixed/adjustable. You can get the fixed stock feel and still the adjustability on the gun. So you move it to any of the 6 positions on the tube, you lock the bolt down, now you've got a fixed stock. You can loosen up the friction lock on the back end of the unit, push in a button and it's all spring-loaded. You can get your final rear adjustment out of that, lock it down, and now it feels like a fixed stock. So you don't get that wobble that you normally get with like an M4 buttstock.
Outstanding. Last but not least, the entire chassis system itself. I mean, you've gone from the pieces to building the entire chassis system. Is this just something where it's kind of like, well, gee, we've built so much of this, we may as well go one step further?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a lot of guys that have bought, and ladies for that matter, that have bought AR-15s, and they love the ergonomics of the gun. So they've been shooting all their life with bolt-action rifles, and now that they've shot these ARs, they want to be able to have the same feel, the same ergonomic feel as the AR-15 with their bolt gun. So the chassis system that we makes it so that you can put your bolt-action rifle into a system that now feels just like an AR-15. It's very easy, and a lot of folks don't know about these. So it's a great option for someone that wants to build like a long-range sniper type of rifle, get the ergonomics of an AR-15, but use their bolt-action rifle.
Brilliant stuff. All from American Built Arms Company. Where can folks find your products so they can buy them? And well, first off, where they can see them, and then where they can figure out how to buy them.
Sure. So we have our website. It's abarms.com, and there's a lot of dealers all across the United States that sell our products. We do have a few big box stores, so you can go right to our website and you can see where all of these things are sold at, so you can go take a look at them for yourself.
That website again is abarms.com. That's abarms.com for American Built Arms Company, veteran-owned, made in the USA. Jason, thanks for telling us all about it on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. It's the SHOT Show edition. We're broadcasting from the Florida SHOT Show in Las Vegas. All sorts of innovative stuff here. And another really clever thing we've come across is manufactured by Deadfoot Arms out of Deerfield, Wisconsin. It is a folding, not a collapsible, a folding stock for AR-15s and AR-9s. With us here to tell you more is the CEO of Deadfoot Arms, LLC, Ted Schumacher. Ted, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, John. Pleasure to be here.
So, Ted, your company is veteran-owned, made in the USA. I love those two things right off the bat. Let's go to how you came up with the concept of a folding stock for an AR-15. Tell me that story.
So I in a deployment 2009 to 2010 in Iraq, sitting in a military vehicle just thinking, why can't I wear my rifle across my chest? It was just too long. It's too tight of a space. You don't have the ability, even with the short 14.3-inch barrel, to just put this across the chest. So it's got to be set in a rack or set on the side of the Humvee. And I said, hey, why can't I have a folding stock, something to make this more compact so I can wear my rifle in any situation? I'm kind of always ready to go.
Because after all, The AK-47's got a folding stock, so by God, why can't the US of A have a folding stock, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So I just kind of thought about it and said, hey, I'm going to make this happen. And when I came back, started doing, like, what does everybody else have? Why hasn't anybody else done this? And everybody said you can't do it. And that was just pure motivation for me to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So through the process, a lot of research, a lot of rounds, a lot of testing and engineering, came up with some ideas. We patented them, we tested them, we engineered and over-engineered to make this thing built like a rock, because the idea is that this potentially can be used by the U.S. military. So it needs to work when it's folded, it needs to stand up to harsh conditions, and it's got to be always ready to run.
So next question, Deadfoot Arms LLC. You manufacture these folding stocks. Do they only work on firearms for your company, or will they work on any AR-15 or AR-9 firearm?
That's a great question, John. So they work on any AR-15 or AR-9. It's a drop-in kit. So our system will attach right to your lower receiver. That's the only part. So you have the ability to change out your uppers, your barrels. Even your lower, you put our system on a different lower. It has everything it needs to be installed. It takes about 5 minutes to install it. If you can change collapsible stock, you can put our system on. It's very easy to use.
So when it's in the folding platform, do you have any problems with like the magazine release or changing mags or trigger pull or anything like that?
No, so what we did is we created enough offset in an angled position for the stock so your hands can get in there, even with gloves. You can access all the points that you need to. Magazine locks back on the last round. It has the same adaptability that you already are used to with your AR-15. When you add this, we're not touching anything on the front end, so you can literally drop this in, go to the range, and be on target because you don't even have to change your zero.
Fascinating stuff and really clever. So the next question is this. Where can folks find this folding stock from Deadfoot Arms LLC?
Yes, so deadfootarms.com is our website. You can find all the information, videos showing how the system works, videos of all the testing, fully auto, suppressed fire, all the different configurations with the stock folded and then deployed to show you kind of how easy it is to make the system work for you.
You're a pretty young company. Are you in any of the big box stores yet or any of the firearm stores around the nation, or is the website the best place to go to?
No, we have retailers throughout the United States. Great places that you can check this out. Joe Bob Outfitters is carrying it. We have tons of small retail stores that you can go to and get this product right then and there.
But I'm guessing the website is a place to go to find those dealer locators.
Yes, yep. You can go to our website. We have the information on where we're carried, where we can find it, all the information you need. And anytime you have any questions, shoot us an email or give me a call. We'll be happy to let you know how our system works in your current setup.
All right, one more time with the website.
Deadfootarms.com.
That's deadfootarms.com for some really ingenious folding stocks for your AR-15 rifle or your AR-9 rifle. Go ahead and check them out. You're going to be impressed, and I'm pretty sure you're going to want to buy one. Ted, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John.
Do you long to hunt Africa's most dangerous big game? Big Game Hunting Adventures offers that. Hunting free-range Cape buffalo in some of the wildest untamed country left on the continent. You'll be the only hunting party tracking free-range buffalo on 160,000 acres of land where the borders of Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe meet. They include pickup at Johannesburg International Airport, and they're among the most affordable you'll find in all of Africa. Book your safari today at BigGameHuntingAdventures.com.
Service is always cheaper than repair. That's a truism from Ken Estes at Cascade Marine Center in Portland, Oregon. Go ahead and drop by and see Cascade Marine for all of the parts, accessories, and honest advice you need to keep your boat and motor running. No one wants to be the guy plugging the boat ramp up because his boat doesn't start. So head down to Cascade Marine Center in Portland or give them a call or check out their website at cascademarinecenter.com.
In Humboldt County, something wild happens in the wintertime. Thousands of visitors swim underwater to Humboldt shores, seeking partners of the opposite sex. We're talking steelhead, January to March, more here than anywhere else in California. And we celebrate with fishing and photo contests and $10,000 in cash prizes, special access, spawning and restoration tours, films and festivities for the entire family. So drive, fly, or swim underwater to Humboldt Steelhead Days.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com. You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Alaska Sporting Journal. It is the monthly magazine that covers the fishing, hunting, outdoors, and adventure scene throughout the state of Alaska. Look for it at a newsstand near you. Speaking of adventures, we are talking with Skip Clemens. He's the owner of Adventure Hunts, and he is offering some great sportsman show specials that you can take advantage of right now if you want to go hunting for big game in Africa. Skip, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure to be with you again.
So usually you've got to go to one of the shows. And by the way, I know that you're going to have a booth at the big Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show that's taking place this weekend at the Expo Center in Portland. But for the folks that can't get to the show, can they take advantage of some of these specials? And why don't you tell us about a couple of them?
Yeah, right now, as we've been known for years and years, our safari specials, we have several different hunts both in South Africa and Namibia, starting at about 3,800, going up to about 9,000. But what's unique about our specials, especially our show special at 54, is it's 10 full days of hunting. The day in and day out is on us.
Wow.
And it gives you 10 plains game species included, including daily rate and the trophy feast for all the animals for 10 species. So it's a great hunt.
Well, hold on. You know, I've actually priced one of these hunts before. I won one at a Friends of the NRA dinner for $500 and found out that $500 was going to cost, well, it was going to be about a $18,000 hunt when all was said and done. So you're talking anywhere from $3,800 to $9,000, and you get 10 different animals, plains species, and the trophy fees included. That's the one that gets me.
Yeah, we do. As an example of one of our packages, you get a kudu, gemsbuck, black wildebeest, impala, blessbuck, warthog, dyke or blue wildebeest, and so on. And that hunt is $5,400 for 10 days and 10 animals. And all of our hunts include the trackers, skinners, guides, food, lodging, accommodation, daily laundry service, and local beverages. So it's pretty nice. The other one special we have right now, without question, is just taken the market by storm, is our sable and our Cape Buffalo hunts and our Cape Buffalo and sable combination hunt. That's just, you're talking $8,900 for Cape Buffalo, dangerous game. That is one of the most popular dangerous game being shot out there right now, hunted out there right now.
Oh, yeah? You want to find out more about that, folks? Start reading some Ernest Hemingway. It'll put the fear of Cape Buffalo into your heart, that's for sure. That sounds like an incredible opportunity for a very low price. Your competitors, I think, are selling these hunts for a lot more. How are you getting away with selling them for so little?
Well, for the last 24 years, as we've discussed before, we go over every year and negotiate new packages with them to come into the U.S. too. Nothing better to get a guy to go over to Africa for the first time, a hunter and a sportsman, even the wives. We put together a bunch of unique packages in Namibia, for an example, where we include a husband and wife or two buddies together for one price, and they all get to shoot and hunt different species. But we sell so many safaris, to be honest with you, that our outfitters love us, and they put together unique packages every year to stand out in the shows.
Oh, this sounds absolutely fantastic. So let's talk about what's not included. I'm guessing three things here. Airfare to Johannesburg is probably not included. Is that correct?
Correct,
And tips to the guides and the professional hunters is probably not included either.
Yeah. A couple things that typically are not included are what are called dip and pack, and that's getting your animals dipped and authorized by, so U.S. Customs, when they come into the U.S., will allow them to come in the country, and then the shipping of the animals home.
Sure. Is the taxidermy done there, or is it done here?
Well, you can do it both ways. We don't sell taxidermy, so
right.
A lot of guys like to have it done over there. It's usually a little bit of a savings. And on the other hand, the other side of the coin is that a lot of hunters feel we have better taxidermy in the U.S., which I kind of agree with. And so a lot of guys will ship their trophies home and then take it to their local taxidermist. So.
All right. Well, let's run through those specials again, because they both sound like great deals. Just very briefly, what are they? What's the price?
In Namibia, as an example, we have for two hunters in the Kalahari for $5,900, and that includes both hunters, and they each get a Gemsbuck, Hartebeest, Springbuck, blue wildebeest, and some predators. So that's a great package. We have a couples package for $3,800 for 10 days for one hunter and one non-hunter, and they get a Gemsbuck, a red Hartebeest, a Springbuck, a wildebeest, and predators again. So we have a bunch of unique packages, but again, they should stop by for sure and look at our Cape Buffalo and sable specials right now. You can hunt a sable and include the trophy fee for $5,900 basically.
Wow. All right, folks. Well, there you go. Africa is not out of reach in terms of price, especially if you go with Adventure Hunts. You can find out more by going to the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland this weekend, or just email Skip and ask him for a brochure and more information. That email address is adventurehunts@yahoo.com. Again, it's adventurehunts@yahoo.com. One more time, adventurehunts@yahoo.com to find out about booking an affordable African safari. Skip, thanks for telling us all about this again on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John.
We've got some outdoors news to share with you, and we'll start off with a story from the UK Guardian and other sources about a public lands transfer bill that's been withdrawn from Congress. That's right, U.S. Congressman Jason Chaffetz announced last week he was withdrawing a bill he introduced in January that would have ordered the incoming Secretary of the Interior to immediately sell off 3.3 million, that's right, million acres of national land. Writing on social media, Chaffetz said, "I'm a proud gun owner, hunter, and love our public lands. The bill would have disposed of small parcels of lands President Clinton identified as serving no public purpose, but groups I support and care about fear it sends the wrong message." The initial bill called for the 3.3 million acres of land across the western United States to be sold to states or private buyers. The news set off protests by outdoors enthusiasts in Montana and drew criticism from a number of conservation groups in western states. House Bill 621 had ignited a firestorm of indignation from not only conservation groups, but also from hunters and fishermen who contribute to the $646 billion generated by outdoor recreation across the U.S. each year. If you are listening to our sister show, Northwestern Outdoors Radio, this weekend, you heard what Lantani, the president of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, had to say about this issue when we spoke with him at SHOT Show. Contacted in the wake of this turn of events by the UK Guardian, Lantani said, once that bill was introduced, the hornet's nest was kicked. Tani went on to say that for too long, the federal government's focus has been on starving public lands of the resources needed for them to be as healthy and accessible to the public as they should be. In Tani's words, we're fired up, and this is just the beginning. He promises that sportsmen would keep fighting the attacks on public lands. Heading to California, where some hatchery workers have saved the day following heavy rains between January 17th through the 18th. Workers at the Nimbus and American River hatcheries labored around the clock to prevent massive debris loads from clogging the main water supply for below Nimbus Dam. Their intense efforts to clean the intake structures and adjust water flows during battering winds and rains saved millions of eggs and young fish over the 11-day ordeal. The deluge meant the two hatcheries' main water water sources experienced clogging that affected the water distribution system, putting more than 5.5 million trout and salmon eggs and 3 million young trout, steelhead, and salmon in peril. Kevin Thomas, who is in charge of the North Central California Regional Fisheries Program, said the recreational and economic impact from potential loss of trout, salmon, and steelhead from these two hatcheries would be substantial. As usual, dedicated California Department of Fish and Wildlife hatchery staff demonstrated exceptional care and effort, helping millions of fish survive to provide fishing opportunities for California and the businesses they support.
It's time for the Trail of Shame.
Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you.
From KTUU News in Anchorage, we learn Alaska State Troopers are investigating the illegal killing of a rare wood bison in southwest Alaska. According to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, only 138 of these animals are alive in Alaska. The cow that was killed, Bison 124, was known as a leader and explorer in the herd of 130 originally released into the wild as part of a 2015 Alaska Wood Bison Restoration Project. The wood bison is said to have inhabited North America for thousands of years, but according to the state, the species went extinct in the Alaska in the 1920s. The wood bison didn't return to Alaska until 2015 when multiple organizations transported a herd of 130 of them into areas of the lower Innoko and Yukon rivers. Darren Bruning, an Alaska Fish and Game Regional Wildlife Supervisor, said they're some of the only wood bison in the United States of America. And the herd actually had been doing well. None of the members had died due to illegal killing, predation, or infectious disease until Bison 124 was shot. State officials said no wood bison are allowed to be hunted until the herd's population reaches at least 250 to 300 strong. Officials believe that could take 5 to 10 years. In the meantime, if you have any information about who's responsible for killing Bison 124, please contact the Alaska Department of Fish and Game and share that information.
Shame on you.
We hope you enjoyed this week's broadcast. If you get a chance, go to our website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. You can find out what's coming up next week and catch a podcast from last week's show. Another place to catch our show and our sister show, Northwestern Outdoors Radio, is on the internet at WRVO Radio. The website is RenoViolaOutdoors.com. It's an internet site that's a radio station dedicated to outdoors programming from all over North America. And don't forget to like our Facebook page too at America Outdoors Radio, and be sure to comment on the post where we are giving away a pair of binoculars from Leupold. That wraps things up for this week. I hope the Lord blesses you greatly in the week ahead. And I also hope, despite the winter weather that many of us are experiencing, that you get a chance to get outside and enjoy some of what nature has to offer at this time of year. Remember, it's your country and your outdoors.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We're back with Tom Burlingame with XL Fishing Charters, and he's going to be taking clients out to the waters off of CQ for the Blackmouth opener starting on February 16th. Tell me about your boat, the Cabazon.
It's a 28-foot Uniflight, and it's a big 28. It's 10.5 feet wide. It's a real comfortable boat for anglers.
So I'm guessing there's a cockpit, so you can get out of the weather on that.
You bet. There's a heated cabin with a private marine head in it, and it's really comfortable.
28-foot boat. That is a good-sized boat. And, you know, just looking at the pictures of your boat, looks like there's plenty of room to fish in the aft portion.
There sure is. Uniflight designed a great boat many years ago, and it still works well today.
What kind of motors are you using on there?
There's twin Yanmar diesel. They're little 4-cylinder diesels.
Interesting. That's pretty unique. I'm used to everybody running Yamahas or Mercuries, but you're running diesel motors. Is that more fuel efficient?
It sure is. The efficiency of those engines are great.
Well, there you go. Pretty innovative stuff. So if you want to fish on board the Cabazon with Tom Burlingame with XL Fishing Charters, go ahead and book now. This Blackmouth salmon fishery, 2 salmon. So that's really worth the trip to CQ. Go to his website, xlfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL fishingcharters.com. Thanks again, Tom.
Thank you, John.
Marine Area 5 near CQ is open for a special Chinook salmon fishery from February 16th to April 30th, and Excel Fishing Charters is ready to take you out for a great day on the water. One of the great things about this fishery is the fact that you get to take home not one, but 2 blackmouth a day, and Captain Tom Burlingame has the knowledge and experience to help you get that done.
Fish on!
Need a place to stay? Excel Fishing Charters can help you with that too, because they also operate the Inn at Nia Bay. Find out more about fishing with Excel Fishing Charters at excelfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL fishingcharters.com. Book your trip now.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at adventurehunts.com. That's adventurehunts.com.
From the Columbia River to Puget Sound, the Coastal Conservation Association in the Pacific Northwest works to conserve the fish we love. To find out more, go to ccapnw.org.